Robby D and the lesser known.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Robby D and the Lesser Knowns. I'm your expert host, Robby D. Well, what am I an expert of? I would say Jim Carrey films, Seinfeld, all seasons, Simpsons, seasons 1 through 10. Forget the other ones, because those don't count. That's what I'm an expert of. I'm also an expert of interviews, as you've heard from the past 18 episodes, because today is a monumental day. It is our 19th episode, spectacular.
Well, 19th recorded.
19th recording. Oh, I couldn't have done it. And you know why I couldn't have done it? Because I had someone by my side in every episode who always makes me feel great, writes me messages on Gmail so our guests don't know we're talking about them. Makes me feel special. Sorry about that. Our guest gave me a look. Anywho, with me as always is producer Will.
Hello.
There he is. I didn't hear that. Did you hear that?
Hello.
Yeah, we're hey, huh?
Testing. Hello.
There
we
go.
go.
There you go.
Hello.
He's back. Maybe he'll speak up. But he's been here and he's been great the last 18 episodes. So 19's off to a great start. Anywho, 19 episodes. So thank you, listeners. But today you're being rewarded in a big way. My guest needs no introduction, but I have to introduce him because you probably don't know who he is.
Probably should.
He has produced his own shorts.
Oh my God.
He has starred, kind of, in TV shows. He has been directed by many big directors, i.e. Will Speck and Josh Gordon, i.e. David Fincher, i.e. Steven Spielberg. I say it with a wry smile, but I'm being dead serious. He has been directed by those gentlemen. He's a star of many things. He's very funny, and I met him on an AT&T commercial. Mr. Sonny Valicenti.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
This is a gentle reminder that we are also on YouTube. So if you want to see what his face looks like, just go to YouTube, search Robby D and the Lesser Knowns, and you'll see his mustache wiggling around
twirling
on the close-up. We'll make sure that's
please.
That's going to be on replay
Just
the
go
whole
ahead and do
time.
a slow push in on
that,
that.
that digital zoom. So.
Yeah.
Digital zoom. Sonny, I'm
Hi.
so glad you're here. We've been trying to make this work for a while, and it's here, and I don't know what to say.
That's right. We've been texting about doing this, and since then I have changed apartments, changed phone numbers, and lost a lot of hair. So it's really good to finally be
See, that's why we're
in
friends.
this nook of foam boards with you.
Ever since I've been texting you, I've lost more hair, but I've also lost weight. In case you guys
My
didn't
man.
notice. Down 15 pounds.
Slim
Not quite as wide on the wide angle anymore. In any case,
cameras.
but let's talk about losing your hair.
Sure.
Did you have a full head of hair when you started acting?
Oh yeah. I remember I was doing a production of Romeo and Juliet. It was like 2 years after school, and the vocal speech guy who was working with us, I caught the back of my head in the dressing room mirror, and the show was about to start, and I went up to this poor great man named Andrew Wade, and I was like, "Hey, look at the back of my head. Does it look like I'm balding, or does it look like a cowlick?" And he just looked at me and he was like, "Cowlick, go have a great show." I know now that he was lying to me, but what are you going to tell somebody before they go on stage? You're totally losing your hair. Good luck out there.
Right before you go perform.
You know.
Well, you're going to be bald in about 30 minutes. Oh, fuck.
Great.
The audience missed the acting performance of the night.
Yeah.
They sure did. Yeah. That was really the best acting that
Like,
happened
if
that
you
night.
had to be a melancholy if it had to be a sad performance, maybe he should have.
Well, Romeo starts pretty melancholic. You know what I mean?
I've never heard of it. What was it called?
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, is that like new?
Yeah, it starts. It's like they made it into a book off of the Leonardo DiCaprio movie, and then they adapted the play from the book of the movie.
Now that movie, that was good stuff.
That was good.
They had guns.
As I was driving over here, I was going through my shuffle, and there were like 3 Romeo and Juliet soundtrack songs that were on there.
Yeah, well, it's good. I mean,
to this day.
it's a good movie. I don't think it got enough credit.
Everclear's got a great song on there. Garbage has a great song on there. All of the Prince covers. Don't look at me like I'm crazy.
No,
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 exactly
what I'm
that was
talking
a
about.
look of impress. I'm just impressed with your knowledge of the Romeo and Juliet OST. I'm just
Yeah, OST.
Also, just saying that made me feel like I was back in the 90s.
Right?
Wasn't that 97? Was that 97, 98? It wasn't 2000.
Yeah, maybe like 98, 99.
It was late 90s, but like Garbage, you could have thrown in like
What do you think? What's your guess?
97.
99.
96.
Ooh,
Shut the front
I was
door. No
closer.
way, man.
See?
Yeah.
See?
Wow.
Oh, I'm going to add expert of movie years. Ask me any movie. I'll tell you what year it came out. Within 1 year.
I'll think of one.
Last Picture Show.
Within 10 years. What's that?
Last Picture Show.
Oh, yeah.
72.
No, 99.
You're not even within the right decade. Sonny almost got it at 71.
71.
I said 19,
Peter Bogdanovich.
Like, not the point.
And that was Jeff Bridges' first film, I think, right?
I don't think it was his first because he's been doing it since he was a kid.
That's right. Yeah, but maybe it was a big break.
I think it was one of his first big Jeff Bridges starring role.
Yeah.
Kind of
Sybil Shepherd.
Yeah.
I know what's going on here. I can't hear you at all.
Cloris
Randall.
Leachman.
Uh,
And there's another. Oh, Ellen Burstyn. Jeez, that's a great film.
Look, this show is now Sonny Valicenti and the Movie Knowledge.
That's right. We're
podcast.
taking a break from Robby D and the Lesser Knowns to go to an even more lesser known, less interesting version. It's an offshoot.
Let me actually say this. I want to clarify. Expert on comedy movies. Let's just ask
Thank
me
you.
any comedy
No,
movie.
I mean we were skeptical. We didn't want to say anything.
All right, then
but yeah.
let's give you.
It's
I'll
just
give you
like-
one.
Oh yeah, you know a lot of good movies. It's kind of the same thing as the ball.
Kingpin.
There. 97.
You were in when you're on year 96.
Damn.
So you were
Dang.
still holding true. You're holding true.
You
want me
that
to-
was 2097.
You want me to
Which
give you
Jim
another one?
Carrey movie started it for you, Robby?
Once Bitten.
Really?
I mean, he was funny in that, but no one knows what the hell that movie is.
No, it's great. But like the one where you were watching it and you
Ventura.
started quoting it.
Ace Ventura
Ace
started
Ventura.
it, but Dumb and Dumber is still right now my all-time number one.
You know, I
favorite.
rewatched it recently, and there's something about those films during that time. Even Chris Farley films were doing this, where like the comedy is over the top, and yet like the grounded emotionality of it. Like when Jim Carrey's looking out the window and he's trying to get Jeff Daniels to go to Aspen
When
with
it goes
him.
somewhere where we plugged into
Well,
the social
we're plugged into
pipeline.
the social pipeline, and then he looks out the window and he just goes, "I'm just tired of eking my way through life. I'm tired of being a nobody." And he's crying.
Yeah.
And there's nothing false about that moment. And
If I may,
yeah.
I think Tommy Boy kind of was one of the first, but I feel like Dumb and Dumber and the Farrelly Brothers in general were really the first ones to use deep, dark emotion in their comedy.
Interesting.
Like, it was real. That's what made Jim Carrey so awesome in Living Color with the bodybuilder. I can't think of her name. Irvin?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Whatever her name was. Even the unbearable gay, what's it called? The unbearable gay man. Like, all the characters he played, they were all over the top, but they all you felt bad for them in some way.
Yeah, that's missing now a little bit. Like Chris Farley too, like Black Sheep, or even Tommy Boy about his father. There's a whole scene of him mourning his father on a sailboat
At the very end.
and it's like there's nothing funny about that. It's just all heart, you know? And yeah, I'm interested in comedians doing that again. Everything's so like dry and apathetic, which is beautiful. That has its place, but I think that's why Jim Carrey stands the test of time, man.
I think that's.
Jim Carrey. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think that's kind of why like the Apatow were like the new generation of it. Like 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up. They tap into it's different, definitely like revamped version of it, but they tap into that similar like emotionality.
You're totally right.
Where it's like watching Steve Carell like sit around his apartment alone or like play the tuba. You know, like it is funny, but it's also like
So sad.
so sad, like so lonely, and you can get that, and like that's what
Yeah.
elevates something from just like solid comedy to the fucking legendary comedies that we all talk
Right.
about.
And you know, like the reason he's still a virgin is like some like deep emotional things that he's still working through.
Yeah.
You know, and it's when you play the full spectrum like that. And the Farrelly brothers, like if they're bringing the emotionality in like that, they're also the people who are putting semen in Cameron Diaz's hair.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
One movie
And-
later.
One movie later.
Next movie.
Right. And like that's kind of masterful. And I guess we see Peter Farrelly on the brink of being
but
nominated
think about
for Green Book. and-
so
so what a career.
we are going to talk about that. We casted that here. We casted the leads here.
Shut the front door,
We
really?
got to watch
Yeah.
the last 4 women read
Yeah.
with
Wow.
Vigo here. Vigo
very
is
cool.
ready to go.
Well, Linda. They landed on Linda.
She was here.
What a winner.
Carla
Gugino.
No
was another
way.
one who was
Yeah.
close. There's 4 of them. I can't remember the other 2 girls. They
Looking
weren't
at the
quite as
list, I
All-stars.
thought it was going to be Carla. Like when I saw like the actors coming in, I
Right.
was like, I would be surprised if Carla doesn't go home with it.
Man, she's one of those like ageless, talented people who've just been around for so fucking long.
Did
Yeah.
you see Haunting on Hill House? On
I haven't
Netflix?
seen that yet.
Oh my god!
People are saying it's great.
I think there's no question about it. Hands down, the best horror television show.
Wow.
Hands down. Like I like American Horror Story. I've seen several seasons. My favorite's the first one, and I think
Yeah.
the rest of them are a little weaker. But this one just blows the first one out of the water.
That's very cool, man.
Yeah, not even. I don't and like. I do love American Horror Story, but to me, not even close. Not even close.
Wow. I don't know why I had such low expectations. I shouldn't do that.
Speaking of low expectations, let's get back on track.
Okay.
Let's do it.
This show's not about me and my knowledge of movie. Well,
As much as we'd like it to be.
it should be. But it's not. This show's about you. The 19th episode's spectacular. So, Sonny,
Thank you.
why don't you tell people a little bit about your upbringing? Perhaps where were you birthed?
I was birthed in Evanston Hospital.
Hey!
Big shout out
that's
to
in
the
Evanston, Kansas.
Illinois.
Illinois.
There you go.
Good.
Keep it
Go
specific. Go Cats. And then moved to Barrington, Illinois, which is 35 miles northwest suburbs, I think, of Chicago. And I was there through being 18 years old. And it was nice. It's very like kind of rural living, 50,000 people in the town. So it's wholesome. The kind of town that like really values their history. You know, there are no buildings over 2 stories. And like it's all like that sort of facade from 100 years ago.
A reason? Just
I don't
to
know.
say that?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's like what they had to like hold on to, I think.
Okay.
You know?
I like that.
Yeah, like they were like 2 steps away from historical reenactments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just like 2 steps, not 1, but not 3.
Just people walking around were just, that was,
Well, yeah, it's like, oh, look at this. This is an original butter churning station from 1923. But it was fun. It
that
was
was the year
wholesome.
Charlie Chaplin's Kane All-Star came out, 1923.
Look at you
Just made that
coming
up.
through. Show's not about you,
Sorry.
apparently.
Which is true.
Yeah, I did that, and Jim Carrey. I mean, like first it was Batman, Burton's Batman, '89, and then got into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then from there, my mother. I have to give my mother all the credit because she was introducing me to Ghostbusters. So I got like Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ivan Reitman, just like all right in my face. Love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Chicago
just
the
for fun.
hell out of you, huh?
Chicago the hell out of me. Then it
No
was
Bueller in there? Ferris Bueller?
that came later. That came later. The John Hughes Appreciation came later.
Okay.
But
In real time.
in real time got taken to. I remember seeing Batman Returns with my mom. We saw it twice that day, and the first time we saw it, the lights go down, the credits are rolling, and she just leans over and whispers to me, "This is it." And I remember just getting so fucking jacked for that movie. She just made me really excited about it. So I would like film, the action figures and stuff like that. That was always the thing. And then Ace Ventura somehow made its way into my house. I have no idea.
So
And
good.
it never stopped from there. I mean, it was
So
just quotable for life.
Everybody shit on that movie. And it made
Fuck
him a
those
star.
people.
I mean, the
Everybody
fact that they
shit on that
made
movie.
a film like that on a comedian that really was coming out of nowhere, right? And yeah, it became a face of.
350,000. Just if I may give you
That's
some
the
stuff.
budget?
That was his pay.
350,000.
Wasn't bad.
That's pretty
Time.
sexy.
He based his performance on a parrot, which is why he dresses in bright colors and walks with that kind of bobbing.
Goddamn hero.
Yeah.
What a legend. I must ask you a few questions.
Oh God, don't get us started.
Well, that came because you know how that came about.
No.
When he bends over and talks out of his ass.
That's right.
Because you know where that came from?
What?
Oh,
No, let's hear it.
In Living Color set, they were doing a scene and Keenan Ivory Wayans kept cutting him, giving him some notes because he was the director of that, And finally, he just felt like he was just talking out of his ass. So he turned around and he was like, "Thank you for your direction." I don't know exactly what he said. But he started talking to him.
That's
And it was in the
amazing.
middle of a heated argument. Like they were very upset with each other. And then he did that, and everybody just started laughing. It's like, holy shit, that was hilarious. But this show's not about me. So,
Right,
also, I
let's
don't
keep
want to. I
moving,
think wasn't Burton's Batman 88, not 89?
Will, can we get a little
Yeah,
confirmation?
I could be wrong. I don't know.
Batman Returns, right?
No,
That-
first Batman.
First Batman.
Oh, first one. Got it.
I don't know. I'm actually very nervous right
They
now.
probably filmed it in '88. That's kind.
That's true.
That's being generous to you.
Is it 89? You
Sorry, brought me to the Wikipedia.
Fuck, watch
That's-
it's like.
It's 89.
Okay. Phew, thank God.
shit.
I was about to lose all credibility in the first 10 minutes.
Because Batman Returns was 92. So
All right,
I
and
was
that's been
like,
our
I
show.
think-
Thank you very much,
This
everyone.
was fun.
All
This
right.
was fun.
So watching this made you want to get into movies.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think there was actually any real direction to it. It was just like I was quoting like crazy. And then all of the parents at my elementary school, the Wildcat players, no relation to Evanston, but still, they were putting on a play. And I remember I felt like my mom was just like, "Oh yeah, now you're doing this play now." And, it was elementary school. And I got the lead in the play. I didn't memorize any of my lines. And I just acted a fool on stage.
You didn't memorize your.
I didn't. They were whispering the lines to me. It was like really terrible. But I had to like, I think the name of the play was How the First Letter Was Written. It's a perfect 4th grade play.
Yeah.
And I'm laying on the ground and they've got an apple in my mouth, like I'm being held hostage or something. And the actor is supposed to take the apple out of my mouth and then I speak. But I had taken a bite out of the apple and I was like hamming it up and I like gave the 1 minute signal to the audience as I chewed. Like the bad attention getting impulses started very early on. And then just like did it.
Hold on, guys.
Yeah, right. Like,
hold
what
on
a
a
fucking
second.
asshole. Like, can't memorize your lines and you derail the production. I've tried to get better, and then just did it. But I always just really wanted to be normal. Like, I really just wanted to run track with the rest of the guys. I really just wanted to just play football. But I always kind of like went back to doing theater, and finally, actually got like the second lead in Arsenic and Old Lace, the bad guy. And the lead guy didn't realize that he couldn't play basketball and do the play, so he quit, and I got bumped up to the lead, and I watched the movie with Cary Grant, and I just copied everything Cary Grant did, which was
Smart.
a huge asset.
I mean,
to
isn't that what a lot of
performance.
people do now? They play like Paterno when Pacino did Paterno, and then you just copy him.
Yeah. I mean, I just take from other people's performances all the time.
Everyone
That's the
does.
only
It's the
thing.
same thing, only different. That's the Hollywood mantra.
There you go.
It's true.
Yeah.
Same thing, only different.
I appreciate that.
I use that all the time when I give direction in here.
It's the same thing as before, just different.
People do a really good performance. I'm like, great, same thing, only different, and they get it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's actually a really good note because it's
Great.
sort of like approach it fresh, but nothing you did was wrong. I got cut out of 2 commercials last year, like back to back. One of them was Pepsi and one of them was MasterCard.
Not the
They
Blue
were
Bunny though.
Big, not the Blue Bunny. one.
You were great in that.
Pantsless, baby.
Yeah, you had no pants on.
Ooh.
Or no, you couldn't. What was it? You couldn't find your pants.
I can't find my pants. I think that was my line.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
That
it
was
my
great.
one line.
That was so good, actually.
I can't find my pants. No,
Okay, give me the same thing, only different.
I can't find my pants.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that
What's
was
the
the
same
best
thing,
line.
but different?
I'm entitled to nothing. I mean, I worked in hotels for a really long time, and the one thing I could tell like new hires was just like, remember that nothing is guaranteed. You know, and I feel like that was the big lesson from the customer service side, and then you just learn so much about human entitlement. You know, when you come in, and so like coming into jobs, coming into commercial auditions, and just being like, I'm entitled to nothing. I'm guaranteed nothing. All I have right now is this opportunity to take this one comedic trope, do it the best that I can in my own style, because thank God I'm being encouraged to bring my version of it to the table. And then if it's championed, then it's all the more better. But anytime I'm trying to front, or anytime I'm expecting to be in the commercial and I get cut out, and it happens twice, you know, the real suffering comes from thinking that I was entitled to that.
Yeah.
You know, but like
You're counting your money.
when Craig Gillespie's directing a commercial, you just, be grateful for the opportunity and you respect his artistic choices.
So let's go back just a little bit, because I do want to come back around to this commercial topic.
Yeah.
So eventually you did decide you want to go to college for acting.
Yeah.
And you ended up where?
Ended up at CalArts.
Which is in?
Which is in Valencia, California, 35 miles outside of LA. So I was ready to move to a different state, but not to a major city. So I stayed the same distance outside the city as I did as Barrington. It's very safe.
Valencia also has no buildings over 2 stories.
What's that?
Valencia also has
Is that
no,
right?
No, not at all.
Well, maybe. Maybe. Well, the Walmart there is pretty tall.
There is a Six Flags that's really tall.
The only
Technically,
time,
the Walmart's only 1 story because there's nothing. And there's no
my man, you're right. It's just savings.
1 40-foot store.
There's 1 floor for the products and then 2 floors for the
Only thing I
things.
ever stole was from that Walmart, and it was a scale. And I just remember walking out with it and being like, oh shit, I didn't pay for this. And then I looked at it and I was like, this is kind of a janky scale, and there's no price tag, so I just kept walking. Only thing I ever stole in my life.
It was like a body scale or like a scale for
Like
weed?
a body scale, like a human scale.
You still have it?
Scale for weed.
Scale for weed.
I was doing a play or something.
Sonny's smoking a blunt walking through the
Walking
Walmart.
out the
This is my
Walmart.
scale
Like,
now.
fuck, man.
This is my scale.
Yeah, this is mine now. This is mine now.
You want to come and take it.
That's right. But I did go to CalArts.
So you go to CalArts. became a
Solid
thief.
alumni.
Yeah.
Ed Harris, Don Cheadle, Katie Seagal, Paul Rubens, David Hasselhoff, Rufus Wainwright's father, and I should know his name, but he's fucking fantastic. Yeah, we're going to get it here. Bill Irwin, the great clown, went there. And then the people that I went to school with are big now. Allison Brie,
Yeah.
Dana Gurrier, I never say her name right. She's fucking Tarantino's go-to. She was in Django Unchained and Hateful Eight.
What she play?
In Django Unchained, she was
Will can list
sort of Sam Jackson's, I guess, her wife. They sort of ran the house.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then she's Minnie in Minnie's Haberdashery for Hateful Eight.
Kerry Washington?
No.
No, Dana G. And Brescia Webb is on a bunch of things. Anyway, Liz Yoakum. Condola Rashad. Felicia Rashad.
Dana Gourrier.
His daughter. Yeah, that's her.
Dana Gourrier, and then the guy you were talking about earlier was Loudon Wainwright.
Loudon Wainwright. He's fantastic. But anyway, I bring up these names because my teacher, Lou Poulter, has been there since 1963, or was there. He's since retired. But he was like in his 80s when he was teaching me. And he taught all of these people throughout the time. And so it was really beautiful it was the first experience of being like, oh, wow, this is a traditional mentor-mentee, teacher-student relationship where it's like, I'm looking at your students and I want that, and show me the way. And he was,
That's awesome.
He was the wind in the sails for sure.
And then, you know what? I feel like Allison Breeze somewhere is saying, oh, we had all these famous people in my class. Sonny Valicenti.
Oh, yeah, no, she's definitely not saying that because I saw her in the trailer on the post.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, hey, Allison, I don't know if you remember, but you were doing your thesis play and the video kept getting fucked up. That was me. I was running the video. I was super stoned, and I'm really sorry. And she was like, wow, I don't even remember that. Nice to meet you. And I was like, whatever, cool.
Let me introduce myself by telling you how bad I screwed you over.
I thought it'd be funny. I thought she'd laugh it off and be like, oh, you're the motherfucker.
Right.
No, I think that's funny.
I appreciate that, Will.
No, like that. That's the kind of person who'd be like, oh, well, clearly I've made it, so it didn't matter. Couldn't fuck my
Yeah,
shit.
Mademoiselle Brie, that was funny. So thank you.
I think it's funny, especially when she's rich and laughing about how much money she has now. Well, maybe not laughing.
She's getting married or got married to Dave Franco.
Yeah.
I had a dream one night that I got in a fight with Dave Franco, and that when we were fighting, he peed on me. And I woke up from that dream, and I was like, that's crazy. And then I went to the coffee shop, and Dave Franco was right in front of me in line. I was like, wow.
Did you just
Premonition, man.
Did you just
You had to have told
whip it
him.
down and start peeing on him? And go. That's what you get.
That's what you get,
That's
man.
what you get, Dave.
Eye for an eye, motherfucker.
You should have done it.
Yeah. He would have been like, I was not there. I was not in your dream. I don't know who you are.
No, you were there.
But I heard you fucked up my fiance's thesis play. That's cool. So.
And I hate you for
I
it.
hate you.
That's funny. All right, so the big day came. You graduated.
I graduated.
And you moved right down the street to, let me guess, Los Angeles.
I didn't.
Ah.
So I graduated. So Lou Poulter, my teacher, he taught Steven Bochco. Steven Bochco is responsible for
LA Blue?
I believe NYPD Blue,
NYPD Blue.
LA Law, Hill Street Blues.
See, I combined the two.
He's just like master television producer, and he was doing a new show called Raising the Bar. It had Mark Paul Gosselaar on it, Zach from Saved by the Bell.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm packing up my car. Lou Poulter calls me. My teacher calls me. He goes, hey, I just had dinner with Steven Bochco the other night. I was telling him about you. Call this number. Give him a call. Meet him before you leave town. So I go to Steven Bochco's office one morning. He grabs like a bagel off the table, and he's since passed away. Oh. Thank you so much, Mr. Bochco. Thank you so much for Lou Poulter. But he was sitting across from me with a bagel. He takes a bite, and he goes, tell me something, anything. It was like the most badass like Hollywood intro to a meeting. And I was like, oh, well, I'm leaving town. Went to Nobu last night with my friends. I'm getting ready to leave. And he's like, well, if we'd have talked 3 weeks ago, I'd had a role for you, man, on my show. But that's too bad. And I just looked at him and I just said, what do you have for me now? And I covered my mouth and I was like, I'm so sorry I just said that. And he was like, no, I like that. Let me see. And I left. 2 hours later, he calls me and he's like, interestingly enough, I got a role for you to audition for. Call the casting director and set it up. And I booked that shit. And so before I left California for good, so I thought, I did a guest star on, and I got me into SAG.
Yeah.
I got Taft-Hartley'd on that. And
what was the name
of the show?
Raising the Bar.
Raising the Bar,
Yeah.
episode 108 or something.
Timmy Nolan.
Timmy Nolan, who takes the fall for his older brother's crime because his older brother's got 2 strikes against him. So I take the 5
Timmy
years.
Nolan's a good kid.
Timmy Nolan's a good kid. And I got to work with John Polito, who's known for Hellboy, Coen Brothers films. That was really cool. And I remember...
Who was he in Hellboy?
I don't know.
Was he Hellboy?
I'm looking it up.
Or no. No, he wasn't in Hellboy,
boy.
but he was telling me some Guillermo del Toro story. But I remember, like, after a take, he was like, oh, wow, this kid's going for the Emmy. And I was just like, wow, I am a ham. And I never want to stop being a ham.
Well,
anyway.
Sorry for doing a good fucking job.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Mr. Polito, who has since passed away.
Jesus.
Yeah, man. And I remember Mark Paul Gosselaar was like really upset one day because his Xbox got stolen out of his trailer. He was like freaking out. That dude got a career, man, for sure.
Oh man, I love his career. But that's just a great.
Yeah, I remember it was like, oh my God, Mark's really upset. Someone stole his Xbox with a Guitar Hero.
I don't think you understand. I had every track unlocked.
Yeah, yeah.
I was expert mode.
I was perfect on
I'm not
Freebird. You
starting
don't
back
understand.
over, dude.
Wonderful actor, fine human being. Yeah,
we're not laughing at him. We're laughing at the situation.
no, that's right. And I'm sure
The
now he would laugh at it
situation.
because that's like the first generation Xbox. Like, what does he give a shit?
It is funny. That's the stuff that goes on set, though. Like, you see this finished product and the guy's crying, right? But then, like, you might have been in his trailer playing Xbox the
That's
whole
right.
day before the scene was filmed. You know what I mean? It's
No,
just
it is. No,
funny.
that was actually really interesting. It was just sort of seeing how these people just like rolled up to work like it was any other day. But to me, it was the best thing that had ever happened.
Yeah.
You know, and like watching it kind of get demystified.
Well, and also, I imagine you probably spent days working on it, working with acting teachers so that you get it just right.
Totally.
And then you film the scene and you walk up, and I don't know about Mark, but I know in SWAT, the people would show up to set without really even knowing the lines.
Oh, yeah.
And they would get the lines on set
Yeah.
right there as they're setting up for the shot, and they would turn around and deliver an amazing performance. I'm like, dude, I've been working on this for weeks. You just heard the lines and you're repeating them and you're killing it.
I've
like,
been
it's
thinking about it
amazing.
for a long time, actually, and like the way to prepare for film in general is so different than theater. And like for Mindhunter, which maybe we'll start talking about now, but like
I
didn't
you were in
have-
you did Mindhunter.
I was on Mindhunter, but I'll speak about it generally. And we can speak specifically about it, but I wasn't given any of the scripts until like right before. So all I had to work with was really just the history of a person, and then just like feeling it in my body, trying to get some sort of 360 familiarity with a character, and then to be able to be thrown a script. It was like, okay, I have some sense of how to approach this, and it still doesn't fix how I say the lines, and I still don't believe myself when I hear it back, but. I'm finding that with film, that's just such a different approach. You just really have to be able to live and breathe, and then you can get thrown. I mean, I imagine the person that I was doing on Raising the Bar had done 8 episodes. She's been working for 8 weeks, so she knows her character and knows the realm in which she works. So being given these lines is kind of just like butter for her or something. I don't know, but
That's a good point.
it's been an interesting shift in approach. Yeah.
So we are going to come back to Mindhunter, so hang tight.
Hang tight.
But you did move to New York City.
Yeah.
And then you came, how long were you there? And then how long did you come?
I was there for 3 years. I moved there for a woman who at one point became my wife, but we were doing tours, national tours of Shakespeare plays. So the first one I did was Henry V. We did it at the Guthrie, and then we toured the United States for 6 months in our Rockstar bus, which was Lil Wayne's tour bus before. And on the back door, the door that sort of slides to the back area, there was a piece of like hockey tape, and on it said Snake Pit. And I was like, that's badass.
That's probably where the snake.
That's where they kept their snakes, their pet snakes.
Oh.
I'm surprised you didn't know that.
Lil Wayne loves cobras.
He's got trouser snakes all over the place.
Trouser snakes. Did 2 tours of that, and then so I was doing this short film. Called Night Home, and the name of my character is Bystander.
But that was in New York?
That was in New York.
Okay.
And the leads of that short were Thomas Middleditch and T.J. Miller before. Yeah, we give them applause. Before they had Silicon Valley. I didn't know who T.J. Miller was, but he had done Cloverfield. I didn't realize that he was the character who held the camera.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah. Unknown.
Also, just real
small
quick,
thing.
Thomas Middleditch plays Richard Hendricks in Silicon Valley. T.J. Miller plays Erlich Bachman.
Oh, look at you.
Some of our viewers might not know who the name.
Oh, forgive me. Yes.
TJ Miller
Hit
is also
shows.
he did a Transformers movie too. He was the funny guy in one of the
And he's
Transformers.
Deadpool. He's the
He's a
bartender
friend of
owner in
Deadpool. His name is Weasel. in
Thomas
Deadpool.
Middleditch is in the Verizon commercials that you see. A new one came
that's
out
right.
every
Yeah, yeah.
35 seconds. Just so our viewers can
No,
get
no,
a
I dig
sense
it.
of who you're talking about.
I dig it. And I was sitting, they were getting their makeup done, and they were just kind of talking, oh, I just did this first feature. Oh, I just did this thing. I was in this meeting. And TJ Miller said, I just remember him saying, LA is the end game for actors. And when I heard that, I immediately just thought like, yeah, I know I'm in New York, and I know that they value theater here, and it's really beautiful, and this is unlike any other city. But I think I got to go back to LA. I think I have to know that I'm in the last place, that I know I'm at the end game, so that I'm not wondering. Yeah. And I'm 5 or something. I got to get back there before all my hair falls out. And so I did. And then I've been back 7 years.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you got back and you booked. What was it like coming back?
Coming back was really. I work with this theater artist in LA called Lars Jan, and we went to CalArts together. I did a one-man show with him. We did it at the Brooklyn Academy of Music. We've toured the world with it. I did it for 8 years, and like that was we did it at Red Cat like 4 times. That was the only thing I really had going on, was just this thing from school. And otherwise, I was just working at a hotel full time. So there was I got an agent right when I first got out here, and within a month she dropped me because I just couldn't make it to auditions because I was working full time at a hotel. Right, and somehow in my mind I was just like, this is still going to happen. So I don't know. That's the only way I got through that, because there were just months and months and years where I did nothing. Maybe go away for a week to do this play, but otherwise just like doing doing the work that every other American and human being on earth is doing. Like actors make working seem so fucking difficult, but really it's just what everybody else does. But was doing this customer service thing at the hotel, and I actually got really fucking good at it. And I started to like get pride in working in the hotel. And working in the hotel really shifted my self-perception, because like I could run a team, I could solve problems, I could connect with human beings, and that totally affected my approach to acting. Totally gave me the confidence to do a short film, because like, I know how to work with people. I know how to make them, I know how to speak in a way where I can be heard, and I can also let them feel like their time and their effort is valued, and these kinds of things. And they're tools, I think, that make the creative process just a little more easy. But so I did that for a really long time. And then finally my friend, Will Green, was like, hey, I want you to meet my commercial agent. And because he had just had a great year.
What year was this?
This was end of 2013. 2013 for Will Green was such a big year for him and all of our friends, because he booked 5 national commercials that year, which to all of us was like, holy shit, how did you do that? And he changed the perception, where it was like, it's not a crapshoot. You actually, if you show up, you could potentially book commercials. And that I had never had that idea in my mind. And I still have that stigma about jobs, where it's just, there's no way I'm going to book it, so I'll just do the best job that I can. And there's a real portion of that. But if you walk into a commercial audition and you say, I'm worth their time, like it really is this really simple switch. So anyway, he had this great year, and he goes, I want you to meet my commercial audition. I said, don't. I work full time at a hotel. I'll never be able to make it to auditions. He totally disregarded that, and he sent my materials to the agent. The agent was like, you look great. Let's do this. And I had been working at Tim O'Shea. It used to be at Origin Talent, but Origin has since dissolved, and now he's at Activity LA. Tim O'Shea, I've been with him for 5 years, and I would not, I don't know where I'd be actually without him. The way, the level to which he's committed to this and how hard he works, but he like knows his actors, and he knows what types that they can play. So like when it's not just willy-nilly submissions, he's like really targeting these things, and it's really beautiful. And anyway, I'd been working at the hotel long enough that I had seniority that I could move my schedule around, and like finally got to do commercials. And that first year I booked 10 commercials, and it just like
10?
10.
That's ridiculous.
10 my first year.
They're national, internet owned?
Yeah.
Wait, that would have been, that says 2014?
2014.
Okay.
That was the first year.
Because if I can fast forward a little bit, we met in 2015.
That's
at
right.
The very end.
At the very end.
We both booked an AT&T spot.
That's right. That
we
never
thought
happened.
was going to make us so rich.
Oh,
I
God.
remember my agent told me it was going to be like life-changing money and da-da-da.
Oh, yeah.
That was my first real big national I ever booked. I had booked internet-only stuff and a couple other things before that.
Right.
And national non-union stuff, but never national union.
And then all of a sudden you're pulling into the Dolby Theater parking lot.
The Dolby Theater.
And you're on stage with a full set with the promise of CGI trolls. And
that was crazy. Right? I mean, like, I thought it was going to be such an amazing commercial. Like, the idea of it was so cool. And it was like they rented the Dolby Theater, which is, for those who don't know, the theater where they do the Oscars.
Yeah.
So everybody see the Oscars at the theater. We're on that stage for 2 weeks and downstairs and like in the area of the holding rooms. And I remember thinking like, I'm in a room where like Oscar, you know what I mean? Like in those rooms where there's so many celebrities throughout the years have probably been in there. But we were all excited about that, and we worked on it forever, and we both made a bunch of money on the day shoots, which is rare for commercials. Usually just made like 600 or maybe 2 day shoots, 1,200 maybe.
Yeah, because the money's in the residuals.
Money's in the residuals, and so we did. But we made over $4,000 on the shooting, which is unheard of.
Yeah, that's
not
crazy.
Unheard of, but it's just very rare.
That's fucking crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden,
nothing.
We get a holding fee.
Yeah.
And nothing.
Nothing.
Like, but remember being on set? There was, 40 OCPs, 40 on-camera principal
That's
actors.
true. Right. I mean, what a paycheck.
Everywhere.
They would have to cut.
You're just like, and then you were the conductor, which is awesome. You really did your research on that character, too, because you were so into it, man.
Had to get into it.
I remember you said you watched, like, hours of conductor videos.
Dudamel.
You watched Dudamel?
Gustavo Dudamel, man. That guy's crazy.
The guy
It's
at
awesome.
the LA Philharmonic.
Yeah.
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 You know your
I've been-
conductors. You two.
Yeah, okay,
I was like,
get in the game.
I don't know.
No, I've been. Me and Claire.
up, Will.
Me and Claire went
I'm
to.
just
Me and Claire went to a concert series down there. Gustavo Dudamel was.
Oh
conducting.
yeah, it's incredible to watch him. It's incredible to watch him, and it's incredible to watch him go through an entire piece and then go, wait, there's no music on his stand. That was all memorized. It was
Yeah.
a 20-minute piece he memorized. Unbelievable. Yeah, that was a great fucking thing. Yeah, and that's the thing with commercials, ladies and gentlemen, is like you. And this is a good tip for acting as well. Find times. Actually, I can't believe I'm going to like meld these two stories,
Ooh,
but
do
I had
it.
read that for prisoners of war, and there is no similarities between trying to be an actor and being a prisoner of war. I want that to be clear. But for our heroes who are serving our country and are prisoners of war, I heard some account where it was just you have to find the time where you can celebrate, even if it's like just getting through the morning, just getting through the day. And so I selfishly took that and tried to apply that to my life in a way that I could. And you really do, for any job that's a long road, that's somewhat thankless, if you're an independent contractor, whatever it is, you got to find the time to just pat yourself on the back and say, I memorized my lines, I showed up on time, and I took the direction on the first call. And I can celebrate that. And then if there's a callback, I celebrate getting a callback, because you can get on set and it becomes about the money so fucking fast. I don't know how that happened, but it was just like, wait, I'm not getting paid anything? I don't know if I have so much passion for this field anymore.
Yeah.
Like, when did the fucking passion go away? But yeah, and then it can just not air. And then you can just, and then really the suffering from that experience is the expectation that free money was just going to come your way, but not the satisfaction of the work you did at the Dolby Theater for 4 days.
I still appreciate it.
You know? And those French directors, that was so funny, because like
guy
they
was
would come up to me with an unlit cigarette in his hand, and he would just go, superb, it's superb. And I remember thinking like, wow, I did a superb job. And then I just thought that like that's just the French word for like good.
Yeah, great. Is it
And
really?
I think so.
Super.
And then the last day, he fucking lit that cigarette. I was smoking that cigarette backstage at the fucking Dolby, on stage. It was amazing. It's a Camel Light.
I think I told you.
I like how you
there
know the cigarette.
Oh yeah, man. I saw that blue stripe around that brown filter.
Did you used to smoke?
Oh yeah.
Where'd you smoke?
I'm 6 months
Brand?
yesterday, actually.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Celebrate.
S-
Celebrate.
Started Parliaments, of course. Then went Camel Lights.
Okay.
Then quit for 3 years. And then American Spirit Yellows. It's just so heavy and so tasty, man.
Ooh.
I still miss it. Fuck, I miss it.
I quit when I turned 25. I did Turkish Royals in college.
Oh, yeah. No, they're so smooth, baby. They're so smooth.
And I felt like I was a badass because I got like the fucking cool packaging. I was like,
It's like a little silver. It's a little blue.
yeah, they got that weird pattern on the
Yeah.
tip, and I'm like, yeah, I'm exclusive.
I don't know why I can't hear you. Is your mic backwards?
I am. It's absolutely not.
Get your face up
Is
there,
it?
man.
I don't know.
Do
Yeah.
you want me to
get
turn
closer.
it? I don't know, not the negative.
I just feel like I barely hear
Testing.
There you go.
1, 2.
You can live
you. Do
right
that
there.
from now on.
All right, I'm just gonna get right up in
we're
it.
not going to cut that out. Going back to the residuals thing real
Yeah,
quick, I'll tell
please.
you my funny story from that
No,
set.
please.
Was that there's 4 delivery guys. You were the conductor, so you were in the final cut no matter what. They
Hmm.
literally couldn't cut you out. Or they wouldn't have a
It was one of those roles.
I was a delivery guy aiding your life, delivering package to your quote-unquote door. And there's 4 of us. They cast 4 of us, and they put us in a line. And the whole time, we had all just been jockeying for position to be the one in the front.
Yep.
The one in the front was most likely going to make the cut. Now, granted, they ended up doing close-ups of almost everybody, so who knows where they would have cut on the close-up. But
True.
whoever's in the front had the highest probability of being in the final cut, you know? And so the whole time, the 4 of us were like friends and talking off, but the director would come around. We all would just kind of line up right at the very front.
Right.
And we just sit there. And I just remember, like, at the very end of the day, because my last name is Descant, right? Descant, it's French. And the French,
Descant.
I think that's why they cast me, part of the reason, because he's probably...
Robby?
Ruby
Descant,
Descant.
right?
Because you remember my name. He kept calling me on set Descant. He talked about it.
Oh,
And I
nice.
told him the story of how it was Deschamps, blah, blah, blah. And so he wound up just going, okay, you come stand front. And I stood there front, and they had me stay there for the next 4 days.
Yeah, man.
I was just like, continuity, I got to stand here. And I was so happy. That was a celebrating a small thing. I was so happy.
Yeah.
And the guy in the back, Rick Stedman, I remember he had such a good sense of humor about it. He was like, every time they cut, they're not going to see me back here anyway. I'll grumbling in the back. But he wasn't being serious. Like, it was
No,
just kind
but
of like
you
having
gotta,
a good time.
unfortunately, you kind of got to fight, man. You
Yeah.
kind of got to, like, fight to be like relevant in the piece, and that's a little soul sucking a little bit, you know, because it so doesn't become about the work you're trying to do. It so doesn't become about having fun on set. It's sort of like, if I don't get on camera, I don't get paid. And it becomes this weird Gollum version. It's like the upside down version of.
Are you on camera right now?
I am on camera there. Hello.
You're not getting paid anymore.
I'm not kidding. Yeah, there it is. But apparently, if you can hear my voice, it is my likeness.
Pretty much, if you can have any identifiable part of your body, you can have just your mouth. If you interact with the principal, I believe you are. Even if the principal just looks, if you make eye contact.
If you're, I think
there's a lot of loose rules.
Yeah,
on it.
because like basically the argument, if I'm understanding things, it's as long as you're recognizable. Like, so that means like since your mom would be able to recognize your mouth, you're technically like recognizable to a group of people. So people have argued like a lot of loopholes.
Yeah, I've heard some horror stories where it doesn't go that way, where it's like people call me and text me because they see me in a commercial and I'm still not getting paid or something. I'm taking that first person because but that's not me. But I heard that story.
Yeah.
But commercials, can we just say for a second, an incredible way to cut your teeth in the biz. I was talking to the graduating class at CalArts where I went to school, and this one guy raises his hand. He's like, well, what if we don't want to do commercials and be a part of that bullshit? And I was like, look, man, you're in art school. I get it. I get your stance. But I'm going to tell you right now that, like, I've done, at that point, it was like I had done 20 commercials, and it was like, that's 20 plus days on set. That's 20 plus days in front of a camera taking direction. That's 20 plus days where I'm shedding nerves and actually being able to show up in a more present way. And some of those, I was on set with feature film directors. And I was back at the Dolby Theater a year later shooting this not Apple spot. And with Bill Hader. And I had no idea who I was acting with or what role. And it was actually where we're recording, just across the hall was that callback. Will Speck and Josh Gordon, known for their films Blades of Glory, The Switch, starring Jason Bateman and Judgment for Frank Aniston, and most recently Office Christmas Party. They hadn't made Office Christmas Party yet, but were on set. I'd worked with them for maybe 2 hours on set. And they came up to me and they said, hey man, you should come be in our movie. And I just was like, okay. And he goes, don't worry, we'll find you. And then, this is a little backward story. I shot a Staples commercial that took place in an office.
Yeah, you were the Staples guy.
I was like the weird Staples guy. And they had just announced that they were doing Office Christmas Party. And this commercial hadn't come out yet, but I found it on Vimeo, on the director's thing. And I had seen it posted on Facebook by another actor, so I assumed that it was fair game. That is the truth, 100%. But I posted it to my Facebook, and Will and Josh follow me on Facebook, and they both liked it. And so it was like an office comedy kind of commercial. 2 hours later, I got a call for the audition. 3 hours later, I got a call from my agent saying, Staples is going to sue you. Take that down off your Facebook immediately. And I did. Honest mistake. But and then I did Office Christmas Party. But all that to say, went to a commercial callback one day for a codename project. I had no idea what it was, and it got me a role in my first studio film. And I got to spend 4 days and a scene with Jason Bateman, and it was just...
Let's talk about Office Christmas Party.
Sure. I'm down to jump into that.
Office Christmas Party. You played Dean, right?
I played Dean.
Dean. You were the mild-mannered parent, I guess?
Mild-mannered parent.
Yeah.
They couldn't find a sitter for their little boy, but they really wanted to party, so they go to the party. They run into Josh, his boss. Dean just says, hey, man, do you mind if we keep the child in your office? And he's like, yeah, whatever. And then Jason Bateman walks away, and I say, these edibles are going to kick in any moment. And we walk away. Funny story about that. I had done Ecstasy. I'd done Ecstasy on a Saturday night and then got a call back at a casting office on a Sunday. So I'd been up all night on Ecstasy, went to... Wait, hold on a second. What am I doing?
Sunday?
Wait, I booked that commercial, but it's a different Ecstasy story. Did Ecstasy, was up all night.
Multiple Ecstasy
Going
stories.
through a divorce. My ex-wife was moving out of our apartment. I was still on drugs when I drove past the apartment and saw her moving out. Like my world was kind of collapsing. And 3 hours later, I went to Paramount to do ADR for Office Christmas Party. And the one line they needed me to re-record was, these edibles are going to kick in any moment. And I had done 20 takes. And then the director comes over to the loudspeaker. He's like, hey, man, we're going to do one more. Just remember, you're on drugs, right? This is exciting. And I was like, yeah, got it. I know exactly what you're talking about because I am on drugs. And did it. I did it one time. He's like, perfect. Thank you so much. And that was it. But yeah.
That was one of my favorite jokes in the whole movie.
It was a good one. Yeah, that was someone just handed me, Will just handed me a Post-it note with that line on it. It wasn't scripted, and he just handed me that, and I did it the next take, and then we worked it, and it was a good one.
Let's talk about a movie that would change. Wait, no, we're not there yet. Let's talk about auditioning. Let's talk about auditioning for Lorraine Mayfield to get on a Mindhunter.
Yeah.
Did you audition with her?
I did. I first got an email on a Friday to put myself on tape. I had 2 hours to put myself on tape. They gave me some stock script, and they put my picture next to the picture of the real person that I was playing. And immediately I was like, oh, God, I look just like this person.
Were you playing Bob Saget?
I'm playing the infamous serial killer Bob Saget, also known for his time on Full House. And
I don't know. Can I say the name? Or no, I can't.
He's the ADT serviceman.
Well, you played an ADT serviceman.
I played the ADT serviceman, a gentleman from Kansas who worked for ADT at a point in his life.
They haven't confirmed it, but it's got to be the BTK killer. I'm not going to ask him. I'm not going to put him in that position. But me to you, Robby.
That's why you're looking at Robby. And
that's why I'm looking. Yeah, for the cameras, I'm not looking at him, so he's got nothing to do. It's the BTK.
I would say that Murderinos and the last podcast on the left people, you probably all know who it is, but contractually, no comment. But
fair enough.
But they put my picture, and I had like 2 hours to put myself on tape, and then I was going to New York, and I just left. I got back on Monday and got an email that just said Lorraine Mayfield wants to call you in.
Yeah.
And it was really kind of great. I actually met with her right when I moved back to LA 7 years ago. A friend of mine was friends with her, hooked up this meeting, and she said to me, just stick around and do good work. That's all she said. And I was like, okay, cool. So it was really great to then go back into that room, looking at the audition
7
room,
years later.
7 years later, looking at all the other gentlemen auditioning who were wearing the same costume. They got the same glasses at the Goodwill store that I did. Like, there was nothing unique about me. And I went in, I did it once, and she goes, nailed it. Now just tighten it up. Did it again. That was it. Then, so I'd done a Subway commercial. Mm-hmm. The makeup artist, Gigi Williams, legendary makeup artist. She worked for SNL back in the 80s. She does the last two Paul Thomas Anderson films, Gone Girl. Like, she is a legit.
Hands above your head.
Because gotta give her props.
Gigi's giving it just so much.
Gigi Williams. So after doing a Subway commercial with her, I shot a short film. I made a short film, and I called her, and I was like, look, this is a long shot, but do you want to do makeup on my short film? She said yes, and I'll do it for free. Then I asked, what are you doing next? She goes, oh, I'm going to do this David Fincher television show in Pittsburgh. I'm going to be gone for 2 years or something. So I get this audition. I've done the Lorraine Mayfield tape, and I just emailed Gigi, and I go, hey, is this you? Are you on this show? She goes, who are you auditioning for? Are you auditioning for this part? And I was like, no, I'm auditioning for this part. She goes, oh, I didn't even know we were doing that. So already it's sort of like secret. No one knows what's going on. Then I wake up one morning to an email from her that says, just watched your tape with DF. Here are his notes. P.S. Send the link to your short film. He wants to watch it. And I was like, oh, fuck. Okay. And she got me, I think she got me that third put myself on tape moment. So I took those notes, put myself on tape, and then it was a long 3 weeks waiting to hear if I booked it. And I made a decision. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. I was being so dramatic. I was like drinking during the day and like, smoking a lot of cigarettes, which was awesome. But I made a decision where it was like, regardless if I book this, I'm going to work on this role. And so like I would go out, walk around my neighborhood, follow people, do a lot of research, work on his voice. And I just thought, like, this is an opportunity for me to do the work that I've always wanted to do for a David Fincher project, whether or not I book it. Yeah. And then finally 3 weeks later, I got a call, and I was supposed to fly out that night, but then flew out the next day and just immediately shot. No one on set really knew. I was like, where are these going in the show? They're like, we just got this paper. This is all we know. Here are the pictures. We're going to try and make you look like this. Yeah.
And just so we're clear, David Fincher is a very big deal. I know we've said his name, but he's directed Social Network, Curious Case Benjamin Button.
He did my favorite. Fight Club. That was like the first movie I came
Zodiac.
Seven.
Panic Room. Gone Girl.
You should know more than me. Keep going. Oh yeah, I did do Gone Girl.
Yeah, the dude, the man, the sir, His Excellency is a master. He's an absolute master. He knows everybody's job better than they know it. And I watched an interview with him recently, and he just talked about how his first time shooting a music video, which was a Rick Springfield music video, which is so tight, know Rick personally, wonderful man. And he said he told the DP, put a 24 on the lens, or on the camera. And the DP just looked at him and was like, really? You want to put a 24? And he said, from that day forward, I was going to know everybody's job better than they did, so that I never got shit like that again.
Yeah.
You know. And so when you're on set with him, you're hearing him be like, hey, what level is that light at? You know, and they're like 3,500 Kelvin. And he's like, bring it up to 500. What stop is camera B on? Open at a third. And he's just sort of like shouting these things off, you know. And if people are talking that don't need to be talking, he goes, shut up. But he's not mean. None of it's personal. It's just efficient.
Yeah.
And you're watching a whole crew of people strive for their personal best. People who've been in this business for decades, trying to do their very best for this project, for this man, for this vision. It was incredibly inspiring. So no doubt about it, you're going to do great work on that set because you're just surrounded by great work. And I was so nervous. I was so grateful that he choreographs every moment, you know, to the point where this was how wide I want your eyes. Don't blink until this line. Chin down. Say the line like this, which for me during that time was just sort of, I'd only done so much research. I was so fucking nervous. And he gave me a roadmap to kind of go through. And
I mean, as an actor, would you rather have that?
Goes both ways.
Yeah.
I prefer it. I prefer it because, and an acting teacher, Tony Greco, told me that like within that, it's my job to find the space. So if he's choreographing every moment, where can I then find some breath and deepen the work? You know, so I'm not just doing a mechanical thing, which I think on the first season, like there's a mix of both, you know, where there's a mix of me just trying to follow the direction. What's great for actors out there, and they say, be in action, you know, are you in action? Are you trying to get your objective? Just by following his direction, I was in action. So I could like rely on that a little bit. Yeah. And also too, it's just like, he's got a keen vision. It's totally crystal in his mind. So just ride the wave, man. Like, don't resist.
Yeah.
It's a nice way to work.
I'm going to ask you one question, and then I want to move on
Yeah.
to your next director you worked with, who's even bigger than the one we're talking about, which is hard to believe.
Sure.
But you casually mentioned earlier about how memorizing how to read a line is a dead end for an actor. Why is that?
It's just when I'm doing it, I'm saying it in all these different ways, and I'm trying to find the one that sounds the most natural, right? Mm-hmm. When I'm in my bathroom and I'm looking in the mirror and I go, that's how I'm going to say it. That speaks to the character. That sounds very natural. Sounds like the movies I love. Mm-hmm. Great. And then I get on set and I do it like that, and I am neglecting one huge component of the scene is who I'm talking to, what they just said to me. Mm-hmm. And the way to say the line is, the only way to say the line is in response to what has either just happened or what was said to you. Nothing will be more organic than that. Mm. And like me answering your question right now, like it's just, I couldn't have fabricated that in my bathroom, you know? And you just feel that too. Yeah. You know, you just really feel that. And you're sort of shutting a door to any possibility of anything organic happening. You're shutting the possibility to you know, signs come with the sensors, I'm afraid, or something like that. Let's reference that line on how brilliant it was. I just want to bring it back to how brilliant that
You're so smart. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Great. We're going to have to go James Lipton for this next part.
Okay, let's get it.
Sonny? Sonny? No, we're not there yet.
Does he clear his throat a lot?
No, he's not here yet. He's getting warmed up. 2017 would be a year Sonny would never forget.
That's right, James.
For in this year, you, sir, auditioned for an Oscar, later to be named Oscar-nominated Best Film, I think.
Yeah.
Guess it was. Oscar-nominated for Best Picture.
Pretty good.
Directed by someone, we'll say that last since that's the biggest part, starring Mr. Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep. Is that how you pronounce that? Streep. Meryl Streep. Bob forget it.
Odenkirk.
Quite the cast. Speaking of none other than The Post, directed by Mr. Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
If I have to explain movies he's done to you, because you don't know who that is, why are you
don't explain it to them. Yeah,
podcast?
Don't explain. Don't feed them anything. They're fine.
You figure
They're
it out.
well-educated humans.
Thank you, James. Appreciate that.
Thanks, James. You can...
He's going home now.
Yep.
Is he still alive? He's alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, James
He's
is
just not
still
on the
up.
show
Also,
anymore.
we're doing a video now, so you can't like trick people anymore.
Oh, damn.
He was over there. He was in the blind spot.
He was in the one
We have a
blind.
microphone just off camera.
Yeah.
Anyway, you did The Post.
I did The Post.
Wow. Steven Spielberg looked at you.
Steven Spielberg looked at me. I remember, okay, I'll tell this really, I was in therapy, and this couple had just gone into the room right on the other side of the wall for couples therapy. And all of the sort of diplomas are on the wall. And within the first 5 minutes, it was really sad. You hear screaming and shouting, and then the door slam. And some argument had happened in that couples therapy session. And all of the diplomas kind of cocked on the wall to the side.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at that and being like, wow, that's such a Spielberg shot, to just like convey what's happening in that room from the outside of the room, the diplomas. So I'm driving home from therapy that day. My manager calls me, and he goes, hey, if you could fly yourself and put yourself up in New York, would you audition for a Steven Spielberg film? And I was like, yeah, for sure. The next morning, it was a 3-person scene. Police officer, the woman who was playing the girlfriend, and my character. I invited 2 friends over, had them bring their special camera, took down all the pictures on the wall in my apartment, my little shoebox studio apartment, and we shot the scene. It was like a 3-minute scene. It's the one that's in the movie. They cut the scene, though, because the police show up at that Xerox place, and we have to kind of cover it up, and the police are kind of looking around, and, it's like a high-tension kind of moment. And then sent it off and then totally forgot about it. And it was one of those moments, like, because anytime I do an audition, I never forget about it. I can never let it go, But this one, I just forgot about. I was watching some movie one day, maybe was a little bit stoned, and then my manager called me crying. And he's like, I just pulled over on the side of the road. You just booked a Steven Spielberg movie. Oh my God. Da, da, da. And everybody was freaking out, And then I go there and I realize I don't have any lines. And some guy in the van was just like, wait, you had to audition for that part? And I just was feeling so small, I thought I was like Adam Driver part 2, I'm going to get my Steven Spielberg credit. But regardless, I would have paid money to have no lines. I ended up losing money on that film because I had to put myself up, but it was all worth it. I mean, if someone were to say, would you pay money to be in a Steven Spielberg movie? You don't have any lines. I'd be like, most definitely. Had to shave my hairline back 1.5 inches for that because the bald cap that they wanted to use for Tony Russo was the name of the character in American Hero. They were like, yeah, you may have to shave it back because Steven really doesn't like bald caps. So I went in full getup, hadn't shaved my hairline back yet. And Steven Spielberg's right there and just goes, whoa, you really look like the real guy. He's got a cigar in his hand. They call him the governor and or colonel, one of the high-ranking position. And he just like, everything's great except for his forehead right here, the line of the bald cap. And I text my manager. I'm like, hey, man, they want me to shave my hairline back. What do you think about that? And he just writes back in all caps, it must be done. So I did 3 days on that. Shaved my hairline back.
It must be done.
It must be done.
That's funny.
2 days, went home, then flew back out like 3 weeks later to do the last day. Worked with Matthew Rhys from The Americans.
Oh, yeah,
And he's a real nice guy. Spent 3 days with him, and he was just really welcoming. And so that set, opposite of the Fincher vibe. Still a master working. Yeah. Still the same mental concepts are going up when you look at this person. You're going, oh, my God, you're in a flow state constantly. Except it's just like really free. It's all of a sudden lines are being made up. Shots are being made up. He was doing something with the Xerox light, and Janusz Kaminski, the DP, the guy who was doing the light or working the camera, wasn't doing it his way, so he took over the camera. And then the guy who was doing the Xerox light wasn't doing it right, so Spielberg took over the light. And I'm just watching Spielberg film Matthew Rhys next to Janusz Kaminski doing this thing really slow, and he just goes like, that's so interesting. And Janusz is like, oh, this is very interesting. He's like, oh, so interesting. And it was so beautiful to just watch these masters, having worked together for 25 years, making shit up on the fly. Never was behind schedule, And that was one of those, I had read.
I can imagine that.
Right. I had read about, well, what's amazing is Fincher does 60 takes every setup, and he's still on schedule. It's unbelievable. I don't know how he slows time down like that.
Really great director's assistant.
Right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's a good first AD. But it was one of those, I read the environment where it was like, on Spielberg's set, the best idea wins. You can really bring your creativity. And to me, that kind of tensed me up a little bit. I was like, I don't have anything to bring to this part. This is Steven Spielberg. I'm not Mr. Creative with the ideas. Like, there are some actors who just like love to quote unquote play. I'm too scared to do that. But there's something actually about the vibe that he creates that he'll just go, Sonny, I want you to you want to swivel the chair around to your left and stand in front of the pieces of paper. And I look at him and I go, you mean like this? And I swivel and I stand up. He goes, that's it, yes. Let's shoot that. That was perfect. And all I was doing was just doing what I would do. So it made me feel like what I had to offer was worth it. Yeah. I memorized everything he said to me that day. I was in costume, and he comes up to me, and he goes, "You're nervous." And I was like, "What?" And I was really nervous. He's like, "You're the most nervous out of everybody." And I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" And he goes, "No, in the scene, that's what you play. That's your line, or that's your note. Be nervous." And I was like, "Got it. I'm freaking the fuck out right now. You got
No
it."
problem.
It must be done.
It must be done. Yeah. So that was cool, man. That was really, really cool.
It's time to enter the most difficult segment of our show.
What?
See that seatbelt, Sonny?
Yeah, I thought it was for show.
Yeah, strap it in.
Okay.
It's time for us to move on to method. Acting, 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 acting.
That was a sick echo effect, man.
For those of you playing along at home, Sonny will be given a scenario by us, and he must give his answer as that actor or person in that scenario. Do you think you're ready?
I didn't realize
You're
I had
not.
to act, but so no.
You're not.
Go ahead.
You didn't realize you had to act?
No,
This
I thought
whole
it was
sh-
a question, but it's a scenario. I have to behave sensorily. It's going to be different. Okay, go ahead.
I want you to react organically and not practice your lines in the mirror.
Fuck.
Okay. Question number 1 is coming very soon. Here it comes now. You see Allison Brie, and you say hello to her. She then takes a bite of an apple and gives you the 1-minute finger sign.
Whoa. So how do I go about this? When do I begin my acting?
Is this what you'd say to her?
Okay, so I start there,
Yeah.
and then maybe you can raise your hand for the apple cue. That'd be great.
Oh, so we're going really
he
method.
wants to read the
Wow,
question.
I get to do this scene.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So I'll be Allison, so just play the scenario.
All right. Don't speak, it'll throw me off. Hey, Allison, I don't know if you remember me. Actually, let me put it like this. Your thesis play back at CalArts, and the video kept getting fucked up. That was me. That was my first year. I was super stoned, and I just, anyway. Oh. Anyway, okay. You probably can't hear me over the chewing. I just wanted to say that it's really good to meet you, and you know what? No. You know what? I didn't go to 4 years of acting school to, you've ever heard of an alumni association? Have you ever heard about, sending the elevator back down and you eat a red apple? I'm a big fan of your work, and you've been good friends to friends of mine. I wish you the best in your career.
Cut.
Okay. That was okay.
That's pretty good. I'm
That's
not
fine.
gonna lie. That's one of the better answers we've had.
Okay.
But you're not out of the woods yet.
Fuck.
You have 2 more to go.
Fuck.
And it's my turn now.
Fuck.
You're a Days Inn manager answering a phone call from an irate customer when the ecstasy that you took last night kicks in.
Thank you so much for calling the Days Inn Santa Monica. My name is Sonny. How can I assist you? Wait. Hold on a second. What did you just say? You can sleep here. Wow. Wow. Oh my God. Are you close? Do you want to come here? You can come here. Wow. Bring water. Oh my God.
Got.
Thanks. That one's the most realistic one for sure.
I've seen better,
Fuck you.
but not many.
Thanks.
All right, we're gonna get you out of here potentially on this question, if you can handle the heat.
Whoa.
The way
No,
your
that
head
was sick.
shook
No,
was
no.
so intense.
Don't you
What?
dare
This
back
is
off from
meant-
that. Don't
I'm
you
not.
dare.
Question 3.
Sick echo effect, bro.
In life, you actually become a security guard at a Walmart, and you catch Steven Spielberg stealing a scale.
Yeah. No, of course I'm not happy. No, hold on a second. I gotta. Excuse me, sir. Hey, Old man? Oh, shit. Are you... I just didn't see you pay for that. I can't believe I'm, like, talking to Steven Spielberg. This is crazy. I just looked up your net worth the other day, and it was, like, $3 billion. You know what? Take the scale. Take the scale. Take me with you. Take me with you wherever you go, please. Save me from my life. I don't want to be here anymore.
And that's it for method acting. Holy
shit.
Was that almost choreographed holy shits?
Of course. That's why I did 1, 2, 3, holy shit.
That was great.
That was good.
Thanks.
I think you threw yourself in the most of any of our previous guests so far.
Well, what's the point of the segment if you don't do it? You know what I mean?
I agree with you.
You got to close your eyes. That really helps.
I don't know what happened for the 19th episode Spectacular, but that microphone is no good. So if you can't hear Will, he said...
I apologize. Better?
Thank you. There he is. He just wasn't talking into the mic. If you guys want to know what Will said, just send us an email. We'll send you a transcript.
Or watch the video on
the video.
YouTube,
Well,
because it's something new they're
The
doing.
video is going to still have the same audio.
Oh.
So you can try and read his lips.
No, email them and get the transcript for sure.
If you're lit, well, yeah, that one's out. Anywho, Sonny,
They don't know
that was great work. You, my friend, are going to get out of here in the same question we ask all of our guests.
Okay.
And that is, what would Sonny...
Continue.
Is that your name? Is that your
Son of
Sonny
Valicenti.
short for Sonny? What would Sonny Valicenti now tell Sonny Valicenti graduating CalArts and preparing for his life in entertainment?
Specifically preparing for life and entertainment.
No.
Sonny now tells Sonny graduating
Can be about anything.
CalArts in Valencia.
Whatever you think would best help your life.
I'd say two things that are basically the same thing. One is loosen your grip. It is not going to look like how you think it's going to look like, but it is going to look like something. So loosen the grip. At the same time, you are so jacked up and jazzed and excited and filled with self-confidence and creativity, tighten your grip on that. That's what I'd say.
I love it. That's
Thanks.
fantastic stuff.
And just remember that the second take, you'll always do better on the second take.
I couldn't agree more. That's why we're going to do this whole show over again, and maybe we'll get something we can use. Just kidding. You, my friend, are throwing up because you're so excited.
That's right.
We had a fantastic time.
Me too.
Sonny, the 19th episode Spectacular would have just been so stupid if it was anybody but you. So thank you for
Oh,
coming.
that's nice.
I can honestly say every time you come audition, I have a fantastic time watching you. All of your stuff on screen, even those Staples and Subway commercials we didn't talk about, you are great in those. Thank you as always to producer Will.
Thank you, Will.
He was great. We'll get him a new mic for the 20th episode Spectacular.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I, of course, was good as always. I don't need any compliments. Thank you.
Okay, cool. I'll keep them to myself then.
All right, send me an email. Any case, and don't forget, guys, check us out on the Instagram at RDLK Podcast, and of course on YouTube, where you can watch us talk about absolutely nothing at Robby D and the Lesser Knowns.
Send us an email.
Send us an email.
We don't get enough emails.
If you want to email about stuff you want me to talk about with our guests, I'm sure Sonny will be back. He had so much fun.
So much fun.
There you go. So we'll have Sonny back. Anything you guys want to know from any of our guests, send us an email, talk to us, let us know. Until then, have a good day and enjoy Meryl Streep movies, because guess what? Our next guest next week is going to be none other than Mr. David Fincher. So only one way to find out. Tune in and see if he's here. And have a good week. Thanks, guys.
Robby D and the lesser known.